Hey, how's it going, everybody out there across the US and across the world? Just wanted to bring you a little breaking news out of California. Definitely not a surprise because we've seen New York go the same route. California governor issues statewide order to stay home effective Thursday evening. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Thursday issued a statewide order for all residents to stay at home amid a coronavirus outbreak. We need to bend the curve in the state of California, Governor Newsom said, as he announced a statewide order for Californians to stay home. There's a social contract here. People, I think, recognize the need to do more. They will adjust and adapt as they have. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the term, and most of you probably are, I'm probably just giving you redundant information, but they talk about like the kind of the exponential growth as the virus starts to take off, the number of cases. So they're talking about trying to bend the curve a little rather than having being a skyrocketing straight up thing, kind of to bend it where it slows the growth of the number of new cases to decrease the burden on the healthcare system. Our healthcare system, and like you see in Italy, they're just not equipped to handle this skyrocketing exponential growth of cases. So they're trying to bend the curve. That's the reason they're saying we need to stay at home as much as possible, social distancing, avoid social contact, stuff like that. Who wants to stay at home? Who wants to be cooped up, right? I know I don't want to. Gym's closed. Every other place you could go for entertainment's closed. I know that's something that I'm not really liking, but in the end, if all of this works and it does kind of bend the curve and allows our medical system to not become overwhelmed like in Italy, then it's definitely a good thing. We have several countries of examples where we should have learned by now. We have these examples from China and now Italy in terms of how they reacted to the whole situation. So hopefully this helps. So let's read a little bit more. The stay-home order is in place till further notice. All dine-in restaurants, bars and clubs, gyms, and fitness studios will be closed, according to the order. Public events and gatherings are also not allowed. California estimates that more than half of the state, 25.5 million people, will get the new coronavirus over the next 8 weeks, according to a letter sent by Governor Gavin Newsom to U.S. President Donald Trump. In the last 24 hours, we had 126 new Chinese flu cases, a 21% increase. In some parts of our state, our case rate is doubling every 4 days, Newsom wrote in a letter dated Wednesday. Newsom asked Trump to dispatch the USNS Mercy Hospital ship to the Port of Los Angeles through September 1st to help with the influx of expected cases. Now, I'm not too sure about how many of these we have, but I heard that one is going to New York. I don't know if that's necessarily happened yet, if it's on its way or if it's already there. If it's there, obviously we have more than a few. I'll have to look into that and see how many of these we actually have. California reported nearly 999 confirmed cases as of 9 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday night, according to the California Health Department. Newsom said the virus is spreading in the community in 23 counties across the state. It is the third hardest hit state in the U.S. behind Washington State, which has 1,376 cases as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday, and New York, which has at least 5,000 cases. And I would expect California at some point to surpass Washington State. That's just the mathematics of it all. The reality is California has, what do they say here, 50 plus million people. Washington State has about 7. So at some point you would just expect the numbers to catch up and for California to zoom right on by Washington State. It says here, earlier this week, Newsom ordered all non-essential businesses to close, including bars, beer pubs and wineries, grocery stores, pharmacies, banks, cannabis clubs, and other business deemed as essential are still open, state and local officials say. I love how they deem cannabis clubs as essential. You can be a purveyor of the cannabis, of course, but you guys know, come on. You can't lump them in with grocery stores and pharmacies and banks. Cannabis clubs are not essential. You might be like, yeah, Dose, shut the fuck up. I need my cannabis. What am I going to do all day? Hey, I get you, but come on. Realistically, you know cannabis isn't essential, but be glad that there's somebody out there advocating for you individuals that are into that kind of stuff. So you guys are good. You're set. Just kick back, do your thing with that. And I have another video up as well where I talk about Pornhub, how they're giving free premium memberships to countries that are hit hardest by this, that were on quarantine. That was Spain, France, and Italy. We're not on the list now, but by the time you see this video, we may be getting free premium porn. So you've got your cannabis and your porn, you're good to go. And finally, it says here, San Francisco Bay Area officials on Monday became the first in the country to issue a shelter-in-place order that will affect nearly 7 million residents of 6 counties in the Bay Area as the region tries to contain the COVID-19 outbreak. And we'll take a look at another piece of information real quick for everybody. Shelter in place For those of you who don't know, I mean, you probably do it. I mean, the name kind of tells what it is, but it says here, you will still be able to walk your dog or go on a hike alone or with somebody you live with or even with another person as long as you keep 6 feet between you. And that's according to a health officer there. So, and then it's saying up here, residents can leave their home under limited circumstances, according to the order. At such time, people are expected to remain 6 feet apart, wash their hands, cover their coughs or sneezes, and abide by a number of other requirements. And that would obviously be just to go to the places they listed above, to hit your cannabis club, to go to your bank, hit your pharmacy, and definitely to get your groceries and everything like that. So they're really cracking down pretty hard on this. And Trump, was it a couple days ago, he came out with a recommendation. It might have been a CDC recommendation. The federal government came out with a guideline saying limiting gatherings to groups of 10 or less. So in addition to saying stay inside, they're also giving these kind of further requirements. They're really obviously they're really taking this thing seriously. Now, I don't know that it's too much too soon or not enough. Maybe it could have been done sooner, but ultimately, I'm not going to sit here and point the finger at anybody for the outbreak of the Chinese flu other than where the Chinese flu came from. The reality of the situation is whatever kind of measures we're going through potentially could have been lessened had the Chinese been able to get a handle on this earlier and had they informed the world, hey, this thing is going on. I'm not going to point fingers at anybody here in the US for going too slow or going too fast. And, like I said, it's kind of a horrible thing. We're not used to this. There is some good that can come out of this if we're able to, like they say, bend the curve. And I know a lot of you out there are probably like, government this and that. Maybe some of you aren't taking it as seriously as other people. To me, I'm not one who's necessarily going to sit there and worry about it every day. I take precautions, like I said in my other videos, but I don't sit there and worry about it. Granted, I'm not going to be like that spring break guy. You heard about that story down in South Florida, right? I'm not going to be like those guys out there partying on the beach and everything like that. Again, I'm not going to worry about it. They say most of us are going to get it anyway. Hopefully, when it comes, I'll be able to fight it off and pass some of that herd immunity on to everybody else. Do some good for society. Obviously, I'm kidding about that. But like we said, hopefully this just creates a situation with the flattening of the curve, allows for medical professionals to do their jobs, not get overwhelmed like that, because that's the main thing. I mean, those are the individuals out there. Anybody who's out there in essential businesses, emergency services, banks, pharmacies, like they said, hospitals, grocery store people, anybody who's out there doing the hard work, and that could also be trash collectors, anybody doing city services, stuff like that. Those are the individuals that are out there on the front lines, so I definitely got to show some love for them, give them a shout out. They're out there kicking butt when everybody else is here just kind of in home watching and seeing what's going to go on with this thing. As always, thanks everybody for taking the time to watch my video. It's always appreciated. We've got a lot of time on our hands, so hopefully I can give you a few minutes of entertainment and information during a day. But as always, take care of yourself, your family, and I hope that you're all just finding productive ways to pass the time because it is pretty tough. So take care, everybody. Have a good day.